Alright, I'll start my recording for YouTube. And I'm good to go whenever you are. And let's see what I remember about this game.
I've already started, and... Alright, cool. Alright, new game. We will do... Just Us. Yeah, I still haven't unlocked the two classes I was missing last time we played this.
Oh yeah?
But I did find out that the Berserker one that requires, was it 20 kills in 10 seconds? We
Yeah.
can do that together. It doesn't have to just be one of us.
Oh, okay, so we just need to find a big clump and go ham on them.
Yeah, I think an easy way to do that is to do it at the village. We'll wait until like the third or fourth night. It can't be a blood moon.
Right.
But one of those nights, we'll let them build up at the gates, and then we'll just kill all of them.
Cool. That sounds like a plan. Let's roll. And attack. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember what I'm doing. Oh god. I've been playing the Dark Souls game, so I keep trying to attack with the triggers.
Yeah, I had a bad habit of that. I was playing Hunt Showdown and Chernobylite at the same time. And they're both first-person shooters, so I was getting the controls mixed up. That was rough.
Yeah.
Less so in the single-player game, but in Hunt, it was a miserable experience.
Yeah, I started playing Chernobylite too. I have a lot of feelings about Chernobylite. Like, I'm really liking a lot of the story, but I started playing it right before it came out of early access. So it started I had some weird glitches. Have you run into many weird glitches? I haven't had a chance to check your playthrough of it yet.
I have 1 second where I had one issue where the locksmith's brother, I don't know if you've done that quest yet or not.
Yeah.
Did not appear. He was invisible. I can still interact with his body. I accidentally found it. I was just exploring the prison, and I thought maybe my scanner didn't reach that room, so I peeked inside, and there was a prompt. I was like, what is this? And then Igor was like, oh hey, this is the locksmith's brother. But his body wasn't there, so...
See, and then I found...
in there.
I ended up finding the other... it was like a safe that was down at the bottom of that one area. And it says, oh, you need to figure out a way to get in here. And I went and I talked to the locksmith, and he was like, I don't know, man. Good luck.
Yeah, he should have told you to go find his brother.
Yeah. It was kind of all over the place. Hello!
Other than that, it's been a pretty solid experience. Like, the random encounters, I think, are just fantastic.
Oh, yeah? I don't know that I had... Yeah, I
like
don't know
some
that
like
I had too much experience with that. Uh-huh.
But there's like some really creepy ones where like you see like Tatiana walking around and stuff, and those are just...
Oh,
they always catch me off guard.
Yeah, because you'll turn and it's like a lady in a dress, and it's like, whoa, hang on. You're not supposed to be out here. Okay, get a lumber axe and a pickaxe. Oh, why are you not crafting?
I do wish there was like more... You want me to play more time, Matthew? Well, too bad.
Which more time?
I'm still not over how bad or how unfun that game is.
The turn-based one?
Yeah, the story missions are just so tedious.
Yeah.
I don't understand how someone designed that. It was like, hey, this will be fun.
I really wanted to get into that. I bought it. I put like 10 or 12 hours into it, and I said, I can't play this anymore.
I don't know how someone decided, oh hey, they have this first wave of 15 objectives they have to do. Enemies don't stop spawning. You can clear out the map, and they just keep coming.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's another 15 or 20 objectives. It's just so tedious.
Yeah, it's got some problems for sure.
Alright, what class? I'm gonna go Warden.
Oops, wrong guy. There we go. Okay, now I need to pick up a quest.
Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, I support that action.
Yeah, sure. Easy. We'll do that. Where is it? To the south. Okay. It looks like it's the same way you're going. We may have the same quest.
Yeah, I'd have to go through a desert. Should have gone Seer. Well, I don't have Seer unlocked. Never mind. I am right beside the beach. Maybe I'll be okay.
Okay. Dang it.
I was like in a shrine if you're going to fast travel down there, if you're going towards the quest.
Oh, cool. That will be helpful. Oh, I should pick my class. I forgot about that. You went Guardian?
I went Warden.
Gotcha.
Because they get immunity to weapon durability, or equipment durability all around, so like their armor, shield, everything is immune to degradation.
I'm going to try out the Guardian.
Good. Yeah, the Warden's been a lifesaver. I played it for that 100-day survival achievement, and it saved you so much hassle. Because you don't have to repair anything. You just stay out and fight. And the Jotun, they scale infinitely in the survival mode.
Oh, God.
So it's just... Oh, hey, whoa.
So the achievement was to make it to 100 days?
Yeah, it was, I'm gonna die. Oh, no. Whew, barely made it.
Yeah, it's warm.
And each day I think takes like 10 minutes or something, so no matter what, it takes 16 and a half hours to complete that achievement.
Oh, yeah. That's how the Dead Rising achievement was. It was like you had to survive within the mall on the infinite mode for 7 days, and each day is 2 hours.
The worst part is all you get out of it is an axe upgrade, and it's not even that good. It's not even, I just don't think it's worthwhile.
This you were at least rewarded very well. You got Mega Man's Mega Buster that killed pretty much everything in one hit. Killed the bosses in 2 or 3 hits.
Alright, nullifies durability on equipment. Fantastic. Which is really useful for the Fenrir fight, because you don't have to go back and repair your stuff when you're fighting him. Because sometimes it can take... I mean, you'll burn through equipment in no time. Fighting Fenrir and the high-level Jotuns.
And Fenrir's the final boss, right?
Yeah. I still haven't fought him yet, but... Well, I fought him once, but I lost.
Huh. Bunch of lizards.
That's the last piece of the cosmetic set that I need, is to kill him. Also, if you kill a Jotun or Fenrir with a bow, it doesn't give you the achievement.
That
it has to be the melee weapon.
That's a glitch, right? That's not intended?
I hope so.
Well, that sucks for people that are playing ranged characters. Both of them. Smoky Highlands. It told me, don't be here, you are not strong enough.
I didn't get that warning. Am I higher level than you? I'm level 3.
Yeah, I'm still level 2, about to get to 3. Come here, boar. Well, we're halfway there.
Yeah, we're going to the important place, the Atlanta Pools, because that gives you the, Oh! Whoa, chill out, buddy.
There we go. Now I'm level 3. I'm stuck on something. Still stuck? He whacked me with his tail.
These guys are text.
Oh yeah, it was like, you're pretty underpowered, for me anyways. Well, let's try again. Ooh. If you wouldn't mind, if you're able to, it looks like there's a shrine directly south of you. If you could unlock that, I could teleport there real quick instead of having to go back through the desert.
Alright, let me see if I find a way back. So you can't jump off that cliff because I'll die.
Yeah, don't kill yourself.
Around. Whoa. Yeah, I was looking for it. I didn't see that on the my mini-map. Oh, nope. Oh, no. I'm gonna die. There's a werewolf after me. Oh, no. Oh, health shrine.
I'm just picking up souls and stuff around the city and throwing them back into our tree. All like 9 of them. So that's nice, I guess.
Alright, it's activated.
Awesome.
There's a lot of enemies around it, so be careful when you take it.
Well, at least it won't be hard to get back there when they kill me. I don't know if he lagged out or what, but he just stood there and let me punch him over and over and over.
Yeah, I think his aggro got mixed up. He's trying to attack me, but then you were smacking him from behind.
He's like, wait a minute. Problem solving 101. Oh, I read that wrong. I was like, crap, a Jotun's at the village. Nope, it's just back there. It just showed up.
Hey, that happened to me when I was in that survival mode. I was on day 80, so pretty close to the end, all things considered, and there was a Jotun spawned in my village.
Oh my god.
But he didn't go after the tree, thankfully. He destroyed one of the gates and he just stood there, like he bugged out. And so I just let the NPCs kill him.
Sweet.
So, but that was terrifying. It's like 80 days. Like I wasted many, many hours.
Yeah. All of the hours. Jeez, those things hit hard. The big lizards that I can never remember what they're called, but they make that axe.
Yeah, if you run up and hit them 2 or 3 times to back off, they should just keep doing that circle attack. They won't hit you.
Yeah, my equipment's pretty terrible. I'm still rocking the
damage.
Yeah, I'm still rocking the beginner stuff.
Oops.
Nope. Oh
yeah.
well. At least we went together.
Yeah, I might. Oh no, I left all my loot back there. So then I craft a better weapon because I'm still using the starter sword.
Yeah, me too. Oh wait, but I do have a level. I keep forgetting to do anything with that. What's good for the Guardian? Taunt, durable shields, axe mastery. Sure, we'll go with axe mastery.
Or is it the Guardian or the Sentinel? Like, does your class have a stun ability that you can unlock? Like he throws a shield and stuns everybody, like Captain America.
Sword mastery, pass judgment, defensive pillar, durable shields, laws of attraction, ice embrace, refuse judgment, last stand, pain release. I don't see one.
Alright, so it's probably the Sentinel that has it.
Yeah, it says I can build pain while when blocking damage. I'm not even sure what that is. Sure, it's something to do
It'll
with
be a
my
little
class.
red bar that appears underneath your health bar, I think.
Gotcha.
And then when that's full, I think you can do like a little AoE stun.
Cool.
It also does damage.
Ooh, the beach. I'm underleveled for here, too. Underpowered. Such is life. So what's your favorite class that you found so far? This one because of the durability?
So I haven't played them all, but I think the Berserker actually sounds the coolest. So once I unlock it, I'll probably main that because it has a red bar like the Guardian does, but instead of pain, it builds up Fury or something.
Right.
And increases its attack speed and its damage when it's maxed out, I think.
Damage is definitely a good thing, especially when you're fighting the giant Jotuns.
Yeah, and plus the attack speed, because I like using the hammers a lot because they hit the hardest.
Yeah.
But you can't use a shield with them and they attack super slow. But the Berserker can negate that attack speed debuff.
Ooh, there's another shrine right down here if I can get to it before getting killed. Doesn't look like it. Nope.
It's just taking so long to kill this darn dragon.
Yeah, I'm definitely not as good as at the kiting as you are.
There we go. Finally got him. That's one down. There's another one up there. That took me, what, 5 minutes? I think I only need to kill 2 of them to get one of those axes. So it's probably worthwhile.
Yeah, because those things are pretty good for the whole time.
I also have the Raider axe, which is a little cheaper to make. I have the tier 3 version of that, which is also an achievement to get.
Oh, here's one directly north of you. Oh. Huh, it wouldn't let me dodge. It was freaking out again. Oh, God. Of course I'd roll off the damn cliff.
Oh, I have a rune. I didn't realize. I move 20% faster at night.
Hey.
I almost got killed looking at your comment, Matthew.
It'll at least go a little faster with both of us, assuming I can survive it. Oh well. I helped a little.
I don't know why he's chasing you.
Hey, that works.
I'm still alive and well.
Yeah, keep hitting him. I can at least help draw a little bit of aggro.
Yeah, we're still attacking your body after you died.
Hey, perfect.
Oh, whoop, he shot lightning at me. Son of a gun. Oh, the village is getting torn apart. It's only day 2. They should be able to hold the village by themselves. No, I haven't been playing Pathfinder off camera, Aaron. Yeah, we
Oh,
lost.
God.
Holy crap! I've never seen.
These guys were really, really tough. Like, I went in and tried to kill one of them, and nope.
Yeah, I've never seen the hell things just take the village in day 2.
Interesting.
That was embarrassing.
We're stretching our legs, you know?
Yeah, I'm a little rusty. It's been like a week and a half, maybe.
I'm just not inherently any good at video games, so such is life.
All right. Re-invite you. We'll jump back in. I'm gonna play a different class. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna probably go hunter because the key to this game mode is discovering, or I guess revealing the fog of war. And hunter is good at that.
Cool.
I can go grab the hunter and just find everything.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go back to the warrior because he was able to deal so much damage.
Yeah, I'd upgraded my sword or something. I would have been fine there, but it just I was doing 40 damage per swing.
Yeah. Well, Dragonhide's pretty tough, so.
Yeah, and if they're like the Linorms from Pathfinder, then they have regeneration. You have to use cold iron to kill them anyway.
Oh, nice.
Or coup de grace. Or coup de grace. People always tell me I'm saying it wrong, no matter which way I say it.
So, I remember the very first time I ever heard that term, I was playing the first Neverwinter Nights, and it was a skill.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell is a coup de grace? Much to find out later, much to my surprise. I'm pretty sure it's coup de grace.
Yeah, I am too. And then I've had people say that it's pronounced coup de grace because coup de grace means like something about fat. But coup de grace sounds better, so.
Yeah, I agree.
I mispronounce things all the time because they sound better. Like
Yep.
blackguard. I don't say blackguard, I say blackguard. Because
Blackguard?
blackguard sounds silly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Not
Like
even
I'm
sure.
playing Baldur's Gate and I've got, Dorn in my party. I'm not gonna call him a blackguard. It
Yeah.
just sounds dumb.
It sounds mean. It seems like something you wouldn't want to be called.
And blackguard
you-
just sounds super cool. It
It's like
sounds
you
like an evil
blackguard.
paladin.
Yeah.
Because blackguard just means like never do well, just like some ruffian.
See? Not a nice thing to call somebody. There we go. Wolves. I can kill these. For now.
But no, I'll be playing Pathfinder again tomorrow, Aaron.
Are you just doing another run through of Pathfinder, or?
The standalone campaign, the roguelike Beneath the Stolen Lands.
Ah. I don't know that I ever actually checked that out.
It's pretty fun. It allows you to just mess around with a bunch of builds, and you can fully optimize your party from the get-go.
That's cool.
Pretty fun. And then there is a way to technically beat it, but it's based on RNG, so you probably aren't going to.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty challenging. There's a few like achievements for making it to like floor 75. Like it's an endless dungeon.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. Whoops. Ran back to make tools. I forgot to make tools.
I got you talking. I got your brain focused on something else.
Yeah, I feel mentally exhausted. I started school this week, so I'm just a little out of it anyway.
Ugh. Yeah, that sounds rough.
But I'm taking classes I don't normally take because I'm a history major, but there's a bunch of like gen ed stuff I have to take to finish out my degree.
I
So
always
I'm taking,
thought
like,
that
ethics
was.
and science and stuff.
I always thought that was a very silly notion for
It is.
the American education system, which is kind of an oxymoron. But it's like, I really want to go for psychology. Okay, well, you got to take these 8 math classes. I'm sorry?
I mean, I understand. Like, I get their reasoning behind it, but I still think it's silly, especially when people have to pay. Luckily, I don't have to pay for school. I'm on the GI Bill, so it's I don't feel as bad about it. It's still frustrating though, because I mean, I
Yeah.
want to be a history major. I took care of all my gen ed requirements. I feel like in like all the basic math requirements in high school, and a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff I haven't used. Like I've had a career, I've mastered a career already, and I didn't use any of the math that I learned in high school. I didn't learn pre-calc or algebra or anything.
Yeah, I think it's bizarre. Like, I understand the basic premise, and I understand why you would want things like, English, so you are well spoken for a career, because you typically need to be well spoken. But some of it I find bizarre.
Thanks, Aaron. Make me blush, man. Yeah, like I'm taking principles of science right now. I'm never going to use a scientific method. Like I'm going to be a historian or a writer. I'm not going to use that. I'm not going to use my philosophy course. I'm never going to debate anybody on the morality of ethics.
Yeah.
That's never come up. I'm pushing 30 years old. I'm not. It hasn't come up yet. I don't think it's going to come up anytime soon.
Oh, you're only pushing 30? Come on, man. Don't make me feel old.
Yeah, I'm not. I think people might think I'm older than I am, but I'm not. I'm not that old. No offense if you are, but I'm.
Well, you give off an air that you typically know what you're talking about, a learned air, and so I think people usually assume age with learnedness.
Yeah, I also look a little older. I've got a lot of gray going on, so I put off a slightly older vibe. Actually, I think I'm as old as one of my professors, or about. She might be a couple years older than I am.
I wonder if that's a good thing or a bad thing for her. Like, I wonder how she takes that. Like, my students are my age.
I mean, that should be a compliment as a professor.
Agreed.
Since, usually students are, 19, 20. I'm pretty sure the belt that I wear is older than most of my peers at school, so.
I get
I've
that.
had it since I was like 8. So it's up there.
I'm the exact same way. I've been wearing the same belt since I was 12 years old. All right, so what do you want me to do, lady? Speak with Asta. Donate fur. Okay, do I have any fur?
So you say philosophy didn't help your major, Matthew? You're glad you took it?
That's a geology major? Yeah, that's a little bonkers. Well, let's apply the same principle to anything else. Like, I'd like to buy a car. Okay, cool. You just got to buy a motorcycle with it. No, but I don't want that. Too bad. It's like, but I'm literally never going to ride it. Yeah, well, that's $10,000 you got to spend, 'cause we said so. But hey, that's just me.
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but like certain majors require a certain mentality, and then you thrust into these other classes. Which, granted, you're supposed to take them early on. I'm taking them as a senior, so I've kind of been set in my ways. I've been focusing just on the classes I want to take, so I'm not used to like the processes in these other classes.
Yeah. I think a lot of them would be interesting, personally. Like, philosophy I would find very interesting. But I guess it depends on what you're doing of whether it would actually be any merit. I just think it's kind of a bizarre concept. What are these? They're like destroyed houses.
I think philosophy is interesting, but it's not helping me with what I want to do.
Right.
And so I feel like, there's other classes I could be taking because I'm a little bit behind on my classes. I have to take extra classes this semester, next semester, to graduate. This coming summer. It's like because I'm taking a science class this semester and it takes up 3 hours of my day. I couldn't take another class that I needed, so I have to take 20 credits next semester.
Well, that's pretty cool that you're close to graduating, though.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just I don't want to take 20 credits next semester, my last semester.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, full-time students 15. But I have to take my senior seminar course, and then I have to throw a Latin course on top of that, which I was hoping to take this semester. But because I had a science course, it got in the way of my Latin course. Because I didn't realize I had to take a 200 level Latin course. I took my Latin 1 and 2, and I have to take a third class for Latin.
So are you going to be fluent in Latin?
No, not fluent. No, I mean, I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, and I'm not fluent in that either.
Yeah.
I probably should have just taken Spanish in college, but I thought that Latin was cooler.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It was like they offered, at my high school, they offered Spanish and French. And I was like, Spanish would probably be more useful. I'm going to try French.
Yeah, I did Spanish, French, and Latin in high school. I chose Spanish because I thought I'd get the most use out of it, and I did. Right. I got a fair amount of use out of it. And then, but I figured out or found out later that Latin was basically just talking about mythology. I was like, well, heck yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Oh yeah, that's way cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge mythology guy. Sadly, there's no like mythology courses besides, I guess, Latin at my university. Early 20s, Aaron. Well, yeah, a few years ago. Now, I could even make the argument that my body's a little bit older than I am from my time in the military. It's added a couple years to it.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
But no, I am late 20s. And if you guess my age, I'll be more than happy to tell you. But you only get one guess. You can't sit there and just start spamming years.
I'm going with 28.
That's a really good guess. And maybe even in a couple weeks, you would have been wrong. So. Yeah, I don't think the philosophy course is gonna be hard. It's not what I want to be taking. I mean, again, I find it interesting. It's just not.
When it's actively getting in the way of you trying to do other things to make your class load easier, I assume it's very frustrating.
Yeah, because there was a misunderstanding between my first advisor and like what courses I had to take, and so I was actually behind like I don't know how many credits it was. I thought I was going to graduate this semester, but I have to go for a whole nother semester, and I'm taking 20 credits, so there's that. I think that's more frustrating than anything. I realized I had to go for a whole nother semester.
Yeah, I imagine so. It's like, well, I'll be done. Almost.
Do you have any wolf teeth?
I might. Let me go drop everything in the box.
I think I'm just going to make the greater axe this time around, and you can get the lightning axe when we make it.
Cool. I need some... Oh, good lord. Transfer all.
I don't know the last time I was ID'd. I think it's because all the gray in my beard and my hair.
Oh, place all. There we go. Okay. Everything's in there now.
Like, we go out, the Mrs. gets ID'd, but I don't think that anyone's asked for my ID in at least 5 years.
Yeah, I only get ID'd by those people who ID everyone. That it's like they ID the old lady in front of me, then they ID me, then they ID someone behind me.
And I was so close to that shrine, and I accidentally activated my waystone and forgot to deactivate it.
Oh, bummer.
You play Diablo 2? Heck yeah, man. Wait, are you playing the old one, or are you playing the beta for the new one? So isn't it in open beta now? I've got to repair my tools. Gosh darn it. Got to play this darn game.
Cool, I can upgrade to the stone pickaxe and lumber axe. I need some fur. Do we have any fur, do you know?
I haven't found any yet.
Okay. I had two or
find some
three.
boars or deer.
I will upgrade some of these people laying around. I guess we'll upgrade the armorer.
Yeah, make sure everybody's at level 2. Then they should be able to defend at least until day 3. Because I think that's what happened last time. I only upgraded the tinkerer and the blacksmith. I found some fur if I can kill these things. Or pelts, anyway.
Alright, the trapper's level 3. The armor is level 2. Blacksmith's level 2. Alright, I'll just drop the last of them in here. Put them back in the tree.
It does look really good. I just don't know if I can bring myself, like, I really, really want to buy it, but I don't know if I can bring myself to support Activision Blizzard. I mean, I was on the fence about it beforehand, but now with all the, scandals coming out, I'm twice as reluctant.
Oh, what rune did I pick up? Combo attacks have a 30% chance to generate magical projectiles. Oh, sweet. That's a good one.
Someone posted a image of the werebear form of the druid. I think it was today, actually. I really, really want to play Resurrected.
See, and as someone who never played the Diablo series, I'm sitting here thinking, should I go back and play the old ones, or should I play the new ones?
I mean, the new ones, especially the old ones with some quality of life upgrades and improved graphics. I mean, there's no reason not to play the new one.
Yeah. I'm not a graphics guy, I don't care too much about that, but I am a big fan of quality of life updates. Because good lord.
I think they can swap between the original graphics too if you really wanted, but for you there'd be no reason to if you hadn't played the original. You don't have that nostalgia.
No nostalgia.
But where do you go that you have to get ID'd every day? Hit up the club every day?
The ABC store after work. I get it. Depending on what you do.
The ABC store before work.
Yeah. Just put a little nip in your coffee. It'll be fine.
I know some people that would show up to work to drunk actually every day.
Oh, God. I'm joking. That's crazy.
There was a guy, he used to like shotgun a beer in the morning on his drive to work.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he got in a lot of trouble. He ended up getting like NJP'd and stuff, lost his rank and his privileges. He didn't get any benefits when he got out.
Gosh. And it's like, you feel bad for people to a certain point because you obviously have some issues in one way or another, and I don't mean that rude. It just, if you're drinking every day, you're probably dealing with something. Or at least drinking heavily every day. But then alternatively...
I didn't know him that well. He owes me $50. That's...
Because it's like, well, you're definitely going to remember that.
Yeah. He kept saying he'd get me back. And, I was new to the squadron when he'd been there for a while. And I showed up and it's like, yeah, I'll spot you for, 5 guys this time or whatever. And then it happened a couple times. Like, you know what? I'm not that dumb.
Hey.
Small glass, like a pint? I haven't been watching anybody play it. Like, the only Diablo 2 YouTuber that I've watched is Mr. Llama. But he's been playing it for a long time. He knows what he's doing. Hey, he does like speedruns and stuff of it.
See, and it's hard sometimes when when you've never played the game before, and then you watch someone who's an expert at it, and you're like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah, he actually has a couple really good series where he explains, and in general, he does a good job of explaining what he does and why he does it.
That's pretty
he has
cool.
Some like newbie series and like let's play series, guides. He has guided walkthroughs of like every character and every difficulty. Very, very quality content creator. I really, really like his stuff, and I'm picky, so you can trust me when I say that.
For me, it just always depends. It depends on what I'm trying to get out of it. You know, it's like if I really want to watch a particular game, it's got to be just right. But if it's something to just kind of have on in the background, it basically has to be someone that just doesn't aggravate me.
Wait, a small glass or a pint? I don't know if you heard my my joke. I wouldn't let my a pint of rum and coke.
Small is a relative term. The base is getting beat up a little bit. Oh yeah, you're back.
I'm back here.
Cool. I was actively trying to figure out where to go. Like, where should I go next? And then I saw that the base was getting beat up. I said, well, I will go here. I guess I'll upgrade some. Alright, we got the blacksmith to 3.
Alright, I found the bridge, so now we just need to find, if we can find a merchant that sells hideout tokens, then we have everything that we need for the bridge. Well, we need resources, of course, but
right.
You can buy hideout tokens instead of doing the hideout because it takes such a long time to do. And it's pretty hard. Like, if you don't have the right equipment for it, you're going to struggle through it. So, let's see if I can't find that merchant. I think he's on the beach somewhere. One of the beaches, there should be a merchant. So I'm going to try and hunt him down. Alright, if you say so, man. You don't have to lie to me. I'm just some stranger on the internet.
I'm gonna see what I can find to the south. I'll look for merchants and more things we can unlock down that way too.
Because now that I found the bridge, all we have to do is map everything out and find a couple of things. I kill maybe a Jotun or two, and we should be all set for the boss.
Sounds like a plan.
We want to do it before like day 13. Once Fimbulwinter starts or the Endless Night, it's gonna be really hard to do the boss while our base is constantly under an attack. Hopefully by about at least day 10 we can take out the boss.
But yeah, if you decide you want to get the new Diablo and you want somebody to play it with on the internet, I'm definitely down. Because it's something I've always wanted to check out.
I'm super tempted, but again, with the whole Activision Blizzard stuff, like, I've always hated Activision anyway. Well, not always, but modern Activision.
Right.
But with all the stuff that's been coming out of their business, so they have been firing people left and right. So maybe they're making the right call.
Or maybe they're firing the whistleblowers. Or people who were involved in the whistleblowing.
Well, it was the California itself was the whistleblower.
Oh, was it?
They did an internal investigation of the company and found a lot of stuff.
That stuff gets me so aggravated that I typically just try and stay away from it.
I do too, but it's been shoved down my throat lately, so I haven't really had a chance to ignore it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like I love Diablo 2. It's such a huge part of my childhood. It's so hard for me to not want to. Oh man. I'm stuck. Oh, okay. I'm used to doing a lot more damage to those guys. And so it's hard for me to like make that, like, draw that line in the sand. Because I've done it with plenty of corporations before. I've cut a lot of corporations out of my life for things that I didn't agree with. But there's only so much you can cut out because I mean they're everywhere. But I feel like a video game company is something that's easy to cut out because I don't need it. But at the same time, like the nostalgia factor of Diablo 2 is just it's so big. It's like I mean that's my entire like teenage gaming life experience, whatever you want to call it. So
that sounds rough. Yeah, and maybe I should start with a Diablo, like for the first time. Maybe I should start with a new-ish one. I know that will be the newest one when it comes out, but I wonder if it's still going to have some antiquated systems, or
well,
if they're
you can
going to
get the original
update it.
Diablo 1 on a GOG.
Yeah,
and it even comes with the Hellfire like mod, which started off as a mod, but then Blizzard endorsed it, which adds a lot of improvements to it as well.
that's cool.
And that might be a good place to start. Diablo 1's a really good game. Diablo 3 is a little hit or miss. Some people like it. I enjoyed my time with it after they released the Reaper of Souls edition, because when it first came out, it was awful. But then they made some appropriate changes, and now it's in a better place. But it doesn't have that same Diablo feel as Diablo 1 and 2. Like, they really change it. It's more flashy, I guess. A lot faster paced.
Which isn't necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm on the fence about it. Like, again, I think the game is good for what it is, but I don't think that it's a good Diablo game. But there is fun to be had with it.
I started playing Warhammer Chaos Bane with a buddy of mine, and because it's the same style of game, and I was kind of thinking about starting to get into them. It was just something I stayed away from when I was younger, and I just never really thought about getting into it as an adult. Because see, I didn't know how much I couldn't see very well when I was younger. So everybody was playing things like Mega Man or Diablo or, things where you had to really, get timing right, and I couldn't do it. Turns out it's because I couldn't see. And so I would play things that were turn-based. I would play, Final Fantasy, tactics games, JRPGs. But the older I get, the less time I have for 70-hour-long JRPGs.
Yeah, I played a lot of different stuff. I didn't really have a genre that I stuck to. I played JRPGs, I played strategy games. I guess strategy games was my big one.
Yeah.
Any sort of RTS game. Oh, I got stuck. Oh, I'm still alive. Okay.
Yeah, I think I probably beat Command and Conquer, any of them, upwards of 30 or 40 times a piece.
Like Dawn of War. Oh, wow. Okay. I leveled up as I died. Alright, so this Jotun's ever pain in the butt. Oh, my weapon broke. I would do it. Alright, I'm leaving. I'm not fighting these guys. Yeah, Reaper of Souls is definitely a step in the right direction for Diablo 3. I was so excited for Diablo 3, having played Diablo 2. I pre-ordered it and everything. I was really excited. Played it. I beat it with a couple characters, and it was so boring. It wasn't fun. And then I stopped playing for a year, and that's actually what got my Blizzard account hacked. And someone uses bots in Diablo 3, and so my account got banned.
Nice.
They never unbanned it for me. So
sounds about right.
So I stopped playing Blizzard games for a while. Then my buddy wanted to play Overwatch, so I got that for Xbox. I made another account for that. And that's where I'm at. Let's see.
How do you feel about the Torchlight series?
I haven't actually played it. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I have the Game Pass, and so I downloaded Torchlight 3 to give it a shot. Played it on the PC. It was alright. It got a little repetitive, but it definitely wasn't bad.
Most RPGs are a little repetitive. You mentioned Chaos Bane earlier. I bought that recently on a deep sale, because I haven't really heard good things about it. But
Yeah, it was. I saw a bunch of flack people were giving it and just saying that it wasn't very good. And I'm in no way an expert on action RPGs, especially that style of action RPGs. But I thought it was fine. Maybe it lacks
yeah,
things that experienced people would need in a game like that. But for me, it was fine. It's fun.
I really just want to play it because it's I think my headset's messed up. What's going on here? I think it sounds muffled. Is the sound okay for you guys on stream? The sound is like really muffled for me. Oh, I think I know why that is. Because I died, but I leveled up as when I went down. And when you go down, everything the sound gets muffled. So I think I bugged out my sound.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Is it possible to hop out and hop back in? Does it have drop in, drop out co-op?
I think I can. I'll try it after I'm done defending base. Alright, actually I'm probably good to do it now. Alright, let's save and quit. I don't know if it's going to kick you out or not, because I think it might be the host. Let's see.
Maybe you can make me the host before you hop out? It said you left,
Alright.
but it didn't kick me out.
Yeah, and I can rejoin. I'm on my way
Cool.
back.
So far, we're still okay. Hey, you're back. And we survived.
Alright, so I'm going to try and grab that stag. How long is left? 11 minutes? Actually, I'm going to build the
Yep.
quarry as well. Where's the quarry at? Top right. That's my quest. And the quarry's really good because it gives you a bunch of just really good resources every 10 minutes.
I should put a bunch of souls in the tree just in case. I had a bunch laying around. And I might have enough fur now to finish my quest.
I don't think I have any. If I do, I'll drop it off in the... Let me check. Yeah, I have 2 fur. So if you need 2 more fur, let me
Yeah, I do.
Alright, let me go put some stuff into this quarry and I'll be back. Put that in the chest and...
Seems like fur would be an easier thing to find than it is. Hey, there's some. I still think it's only half the way there, though.
That's right, you need to grab all this stuff from base. That's so frustrating. It's like you can... When you craft stuff in the base, you can use it, all the stuff that's in the war chest, but when you try to like the quarry and the lumberyard, you have to actually take it out of the chest.
Yeah. It seems like it would just persist.
Alright. Craft some stuff. So I tried to find that Yoda a couple times. She is one tough cookie. She's the one that summons a bunch of hell things underneath her when you fight her.
Gotcha. Wonder how close she is. Doesn't look like she's too close. She hasn't made it to the,
You put any wolf teeth in the chest by chance?
It is possible.
Actually, I think I just killed some wolves, so maybe I have what I need to upgrade my axe. Yeah, Raider Axe 3.
Ah, and there's some more fur. Thank you. That's almost enough.
Alright, I want to go grab this stag. So we need event points, we need a bunch of gems too, we need to get to the beach. Still a lot of stuff to do. But we got time. It's only day 4, 6 days, we should be good.
Point me in a direction. What do you want me working on?
If we need souls, we need to level up the Tinkerer to level 3.
Gotcha.
Because we need to get wrought iron, we need cut stone, and we need wooden planks for the quarry.
Huh. It said I gave her enough fur, and then it said I didn't. Okay.
Yeah, it does
Whatever.
that. It's a little...
It's just a wee bit on the wonky side. So I guess wolves and things are more prone to be around the base, right? Like in the starting areas?
Really anywhere in the forest, yeah.
Gotcha.
You can also there's also a lot of wolves in the desert, and I think that's it. I don't think they spawn, and I found some over here. I just killed 3. How many more did you need?
6, maybe 4. I've forgotten. I'm a simple-minded folk.
Do the deer drop? They drop pelts. I think pelts can be turned into into fur through the tinkerer.
Yeah.
But she might have to be level 3. Level 3, she unlocks all of the resource upgrades and downgrades.
How many souls is it to get to level 3? I know it's 500 for level 2.
That's 500 for level 3. Level 2 is 250.
Oh, gotcha. Cool.
In fact, I could probably get that from this camp real fast. Come back and upgrade her. Then we need 600 souls. Well, about 500 for the quarry itself. So that's my quest, and that'll give us resources. Free resources every 10 minutes.
Cool.
It's usually recommended to focus on upgrading or getting the quarry repaired first, because that'll give you like gems and silver and like basically everything you need for all your essential equipment.
All right. Well, I am exploring to the south, finding some treasure and whatnot. So I'll try and grab 500 or 600 souls and head back.
Well, I've got 800, so either you can when you get back, either upgrade the tinkerer or the quarry. The tinkerer is a priority, and then I'll put the rest into the quarry.
Okay. That sounds like a plan. A jar of Asgard. What is that?
That's a trap you can put down. It's like in your potion slot.
Oh, gotcha.
Unless that's the rune. That might be the rune for it. That increases the damage of the jars.
Oh, no, I think it was a jar, because it was green.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then I can just take the weapon out of it, because I don't need this trap, so... Yeah, I got a weapon. Neat. I guess we should probably try and find that Jotun soon, too. She's probably on her way to getting close to the village, at least.
Yeah, I'm gonna go try to whittle her down. Now I have an upgraded axe. I should be able to actually do some damage to her. And I think I have enough souls for both the Tinkerer and the Quarry, so you can probably just put yours into the Blacksmith.
Okay. Oh, the Linorms. I found some of those, so I can get the better axe, too.
Yeah, I have the axe that I want for right now, so I don't need any of that. So just go ahead and make the axe as soon as you can.
Cool. Well, I only found one. It looked like there were going to be a bunch, but then they went away.
Yeah, you usually need 2. Alright, so I need 2 more wrought iron for the darn quarry. I think it's 6, I have 4.
I am picking up iron. I can bring it back if you need it. Because the iron turns into the wrought iron, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember what the exchange rate is.
Probably not that favorable. Exchange rates usually aren't. Ooh, second Linor.
Yeah, once you kill 2, you should have enough for your axe. So I think it's 5, and they each drop like 3 or something.
Cool. Awesome. Got her. Got the Linorms that I assumed was a lady for some reason. And then I gotta make my way back to base.
I probably defend it by myself if you want to keep exploring. Or you can come back, it's either or.
Well, it's gonna take me a minute to get back there anyways. My rune is on cooldown. But I'd like to find another Another shrine before I call it quits, just so we didn't waste walking time, you know? There's a camp. And a monster of some sort. Oh, it's another Lenore. It says the Jotun's close. As soon as I can get back, I will. Man, really? There aren't any shrines near me? Oh, that's a giant.
I think whatever souls you have, just good. Put those in the tree when you get back.
I really thought my rune would have cooled down by now so I could have traveled back, but that, of course, is taking its sweet time. What is the cooldown on that? Like 10 minutes?
I have no idea. I rarely use it now or anymore because the warden has one where you cast it and you can teleport back to your where you teleported back to the town with your way shrine. So you basically, it acts like a temporary shrine.
That seems very useful.
It is, and they're immune to item degradation, which is also very useful.
Always good. Okay, cool. It finally stopped. I can come back now. So I can make that axe and we can go hunt down that Jotun.
Alright, I'm hoping my weapon holds up because I'm out of souls and I don't have a lot of durability left.
Alright, put everything in the tree. And equipped the Nornir axe, and I'm right behind you.
Yeah, she's like right here next to the quarry.
Oh yeah, she makes it night. I remember her now. There we go. Oh yeah, we got her.
You're doing like double or triple the damage that I'm doing with your axe.
Hey, it's teamwork.
There we go, I'm still doing damage. Alright, awesome.
Cool.
Enough souls. I'm gonna see if I have enough for the wrought iron now.
I have 2,000, so just tell me where you want them.
Go ahead and put all of yours in the tree. I'm gonna upgrade the blacksmith.
Cool. I am perfectly fine with you just point me in the right direction. I like helping. And you definitely have a better understanding than I do.
I actually need to repair my stuff, and then I'll put whatever I have left in the tree.
Let's see if I can grab those last 3 or 4 fur and get this quest done, because good lord.
Oh yeah, I need to finish the quarry. I keep getting sidetracked. It's so hard for me to keep track of what I actually need to do.
Yeah, there's so much going on, too, that it's like, oh, okay, I'll do this. Oh, now I'll do this. Now I'll do this.
So I need 1 more iron. Jeez. Alright, I'm gonna go see if I can't find some iron so I finish the quarry, because that's my quest.
Gotcha.
And a bunch of free resources, so you can't go wrong with that. There's an event right beside me.
Hey, that's where I'm going. This is a really fun game, though. I do enjoy playing it.
Yeah. I think it's lost a little bit of its luster for me since I figured out more stuff. And
Sure.
I think a lot of the fun is figuring out what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still haven't, done everything, but I know how to. I just gotta...
I think there's always that nice middle ground between figuring things out, being able to do the things, and then not having to try anymore.
And it seems like some of it's luck, too, because, like, I'm used to the villagers defending the village for the first 2 nights, but the last game, they didn't.
Yeah, that definitely didn't happen.
They've also nerfed it. They did a patch, and they made things a little easier. Like the Jotuns, I think, scale a little better when you're playing just co-op with 2 people.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that one seemed like she was close to our village with 50,000 health, and then she just fell apart.
Yeah, well, you also have the Nornir Axe, which she's weak to, which doesn't make a huge difference. But, well, I guess you were doing, like, double damage compared to what I was doing. Now I've got a tier 3 axe, so it's, maybe it does make that big of a difference. Let's see. Alright, that should be enough iron for the quarry.
And this is that prisoner event, right?
Yeah, I don't like doing that. They're so hard to find. Like, the stags are always, like, where they're indicated on the map.
Yeah.
But the prisoners can be, like, anywhere in that yellow area. They're usually near a camp.
Well,
if you go to a camp and circle around it, they're somewhere outside of it.
I thought I was rolling onto a beach, and I did not. Right into the water. Let's try that again.
I need 2 more iron. Jeez. Do you have any iron on you? Oh, you died.
Yeah, I'm getting my stuff. I might here in just a minute. I'm pretty close to the shrine, so... Materials. No, all I have is flint. But, can you turn flint into iron?
I think it has to be ore.
Gotcha.
It might be flint. Maybe it's flint, ore, then iron. There's 3 tiers to it. I don't remember what they are.
It's not a lot, though. It's only like 6 or 7, so... I'll see what else I can find.
I'm almost to a desert. Deserts usually have a bunch of different minerals, so...
Hey, I just got 3 iron.
Yeah, I found a bunch of iron over here as well. So once I find a shrine, I'll head back that way. Unless, well, if you found enough... I think you only needed 2. If you find 2, you can craft the... Wait, I don't have enough things. That sucks. You should be able to craft what you need to go do the quarry.
Yeah, there we go. I just found some more. Let me try and get to a shrine real quick. Hey, a golden horn. Neat.
I've used it, and I've never actually had my character be controlled by that sword. I've never had anyone actually fail the wisdom check. I've never even seen the wisdom check in the combat log. I don't know. I thought I remember reading that it was bugged, and that you don't actually have to make that wisdom check. But at that point, I mean, just give the character that uses it a headband that gives them increased wisdom, and you should be fine.
That's an interesting item.
Yeah, it's very powerful. So it's supposed to have the that negative to it, but I've never actually seen that trigger.
And typically, your characters that would be using a sword are not going to be high in wisdom unless they're like a dual class. Because Pathfinder's 3rd edition, right? 3rd edition of D&D?
3.5. I think
Gotcha.
Mary starts with a decent wisdom score, and that's usually who you would give it to, unless your main character uses it. Because there's a couple items like that that are bugged. There's the necklace of double cross, which is supposed to force your character to do attacks of opportunity on your allies when they get too close. But that also doesn't do that. So it's just a net bonus. Unless they fix it, they may have fixed that. At one point, it was bugged.
So gameplay wise, what do you prefer, Solasta or the Pathfinder games, like the pause or the turn based?
I like both.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really favor one or the other. I guess whatever the game is intended to be played on.
Yeah.
I don't have a preference. I know some people do. Like some people won't play Pathfinder because it's not turn based, but they've added turn based. But when it first came out, I remember seeing a lot of people saying, "I'm not going to play it because it's not turn based."
Oh, did they add turn based to the original Pathfinder? I know it was going to be in the sequel. I didn't know if they'd put it in the first one.
Yeah, they did. They did like a beta test and they added it to the first one to see how it did. Probably for the Wrath of the Righteous, just to make sure that it was playable.
Yeah. But that's exactly what I was thinking of. Is it's like, how am I going to play the new one? Because it comes out next month, right? September?
September 2nd, yep.
I'm very excited to check that out.
Yeah, I'll probably do real time with pause because that's how I played the first one. And so that, in my mind, that's how it's supposed to be played.
Yeah. We'll see. And the Baldur's Gate series is one of my favorite series. I know we talked about that a little last time we played. And, you know, this Pathfinder feels like Baldur's Gate 3 to me. More than Baldur's Gate 3 is probably going to feel like Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, the gameplay is going to be a huge shift. Honestly, I don't care either way. I'm fine with like the, change of pace, the innovation, or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
I also understand why they're doing it because they're tailoring it to the Divinity Original Sin players because that's a huge player base right there.
Yeah.
And so if they want the game to do well, using that same design is a smart choice, smart marketing choice.
Yeah, I just kind of wish they didn't do the marketing to make it... Well, I don't know. I don't want to judge the game too harshly until it's fully out, because it's one of the few games I'm going to 100% wait until it's done. Like, I'm not going to play it in early access.
Yeah, same. I don't know, as long as it's tied to the original story, that's all I care about. I don't know how they're going to do that.
Because the ball spawn's done.
Yeah, they wrapped it up. So I don't know... that's where I'm a little hesitant about it.
Yeah, and I'd be completely fine with it being
Baldur's Gate 3.
Right.
If it's not Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of wish it was a different game, but I understand why it isn't.
Like, I feel like they could have easily... So if it's not connected to the original story, I'm really holding out hope that it is. But if it's not, I wish they'd use like a subtitle instead of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, Baldur's Gate Rise of the Illithids or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, it might not be Larian's choice. It might be something that Wizards of the Coast made them do to make the game.
That makes sense. Well, because I know they were originally trying to get the rights to make it, and they were like, no, we're not going to let you do it. And then they came out and they tried to get the rights to make it from Wizard of the Coast, and they said they wouldn't let them. And then they made Divinity. And they were like, oh, this is really good. So, okay, yeah, sure, we'll let you make Baldur's Gate. So yeah, maybe they made them make it that way.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that happened with the not the remake, but the newest Dark Alliance game. I think Wizards of the Coast had too much say. Because that game was initially supposed to be an isometric game like the original Dark Alliance games.
Which would have been great.
But then Wizards of the Coast bought that studio and incorporated it into their company, and then it became a third-person action game, which turned into what it is, what we got.
Yeah. Which I actually started playing that with another friend of mine during some of our downtime, and it's okay.
Yeah, I had fun with it, but I also got bored of it really quickly. So
yeah, I think we played it for about 3 hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I played as what's her name? I don't remember what her name was.
Caddy Bree?
Yeah, Caddy Bree. I played as her, and I thought her playstyle was interesting.
Yeah, they had to nerf her because she was a little too strong.
Oh yeah.
Like she could solo any content. Like at level 1, she could solo everything because of her charged up attack. Can stagger any enemy in the game. It's pretty goofy. But yeah, I think Wizards of the Coast had too much say in that game. That's my theory. I don't have any proof, of course, but that's what I'm running with right now.
Studio interference is usually a good reason for why things go bad.
Yeah, I like turn-based too, but I think it depends what the game is balanced around. Because you have games like Pathfinder wasn't initially developed with turn-based in mind, so you have a ton of encounters, a lot of like trash mobs and things like that. So like doing turn-based all the time is just going to take forever.
Yeah, you make a very good point of having to pause. You're in combat, brings up the grid. Yeah, that sounds rough.
It also depends on like the mechanics. So like Solasta has a ton of like utility mechanics, like is what I call it.
Yeah,
so like
definitely.
Turn-based makes a lot more sense with that. Like I don't know if I'd want to play real time with pause, like fly and all that verticality as well. It'd be too hard to manage all the characters.
Yeah.
I think it depends. It also depends on how they handle the buffs. So like in Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can pre-buff and everything lasts for like hours, and so you don't have to really worry about like pre-buffing before combat.
At least not before every combat.
Wait, shouldn't I? Oh, that's right. I need to get that pickaxe. I'm not done with this quest yet. So I mean, I think it just depends on what the game's balanced around. I don't really have a preference. Whatever the game is initially released with, I'll play it as. I don't really have a preference one or the other. And one like, if it's not turn-based, I'm not like that won't make me not play the game. Like some people base their willingness to play the game if it has like turn-based or not like that. Yeah, you're shorting yourself an experience.
Very true.
Like that's. But I also understand it because I mean, like Pathfinder, there's a lot going on. It's hard to like keep track of everything that's happening in combat, and that can be frustrating. But I think that also simulates real life combat. Like if you're in a fight, you can't keep track of everything that's going on.
This is true. I think the only time I ever got overwhelmed, which spoiler alerts if anybody hasn't seen it or is still going to play it, so was when your actual main camp got attacked by the large monster. It's been a few years since I played it, so I don't remember what it was. Was it a giant owl bear?
Yeah, in Kingmaker, yeah, there's a bunch of your capital gets assaulted by a bunch of beasts.
Yeah. I think that was the only time in the game I really remember just being like, oh my god, I'm completely overwhelmed, I don't know what's going on, hang on. I thought that fight was really tough, too, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I played it when it first came out, and I haven't played it since, because I put so much time into it. I think I played it for like 300 hours, like checking every nook and every cranny.
I don't remember struggling there. I know that I struggled in Mordecai's Tomb, which is my favorite dungeon of the game. It's a fantastic dungeon, and I remember I never brought rations with me anywhere, because I never was in a dungeon that I couldn't just take out like one rest.
Right.
And then Mordecai's Tomb came up, and I didn't have rations, and it's just a very, very long dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
I was fighting like tooth and claw to get through that thing. I think they patched it so you get rations. I don't know if it was before or after I played through it the first time. I feel like I found rations. Maybe I didn't. But they patched it so like some of the zombies drop rations.
Is there like a create food spell? I don't remember.
No create food. Just the rations you gotta find. So they did patch it because people kept going to that dungeon unprepared and not be able to make it through it, which I understand because I was one of those people. I was struggling. Now what did I come back for? What I was doing?
Hideout raid. Sure.
yeah. That was a fun little detail.
Oh yeah, that the inn puts it in there as a giant rug. That was cool.
Yeah, Mordecai's Tomb, and then the House at the End of Time was obviously super, super difficult. Everything else wasn't. Irrvedi, I had some trouble with Irrvedi the first time I fought him, but then for some reason every time after that I had no trouble. I didn't do anything different that I know of. But like his little special ability with his weapon, he shoots out like all those projectiles. It just destroyed me my first playthrough. But subsequent playthroughs I didn't have any issue with that. I don't know why not.
Oh, I need to repair my axe.
Oh, there's another shrine down there.
Is the first Diablo co-op?
You know, I don't know. I've never played it online, so I have no idea. I don't think so. I think it's single player because there's only 3 classes. I I have no idea. Anybody in the chat know if Diablo 1 is online co-op? I got it with the Battle Pass of Diablo 2, so I spent most of my time playing Diablo 2.
Right.
And so I don't know. I never even beat Diablo 1, so I don't have that experience.
I think I remember it not being, but I'm not positive. I'll look it up as soon as we're done defending the village. I'm surprised they haven't nerfed this axe move. Get up, armorer. Help me hold the wall.
Let me grab this.
You too, Tinkerer. No sleeping on the job. Yay, we lived.
Alright, so our next goal, we're going to try and find a merchant on a beach. And he should sell... Actually, I think he's right there. I think we've already found him. And then we should have everything we need for the boss, actually. We're making pretty good time. I think like the record right now is killing Fenrir on day 3 or 4. It requires a lot of luck, but... Like, if you have to have a good map for it. I think that's the last thing we need to do. We'll see. Let's see. Go there and buy the thingamajigs from him. The hideout points. Oh, excuse me. There we go.
So it looks like Diablo 1 does have co-op, but you need to be able to search for the person. I don't know what that means.
It's probably where you set up like a lobby. So like, was it TCIP?
Right.
Something like that.
Repair you.
Oh gosh.
So it looks like my quest is over there in the cold. So I guess I need to make some cold armor.
That, or you can make a potion.
Okay.
It might be the cheaper option. I mean, we probably have the resources for the other stuff. Whichever route you want to take.
Yeah, the Herser helmet seems to have cold resist, so I guess we'll just grab those and slap them on.
Speaking of TCIP, they actually got rid of that for the Diablo 2 remake. That was the big news this week for the game.
Oh. I wonder
because
why.
there's security issues, supposedly.
Ah.
I can't verify that, but Riker, a big Diablo 2 news guy, or Diablo news, Blizzard news guy, I guess, semi-confirmed it. He said he knew people that knew they were talking about, and said that was a legitimate concern. So,
I'm not extremely computer literate, but I wonder what the security issue would be. Is that someone can just, like, make a back path from your game into your actual files?
I have no... I assume so, because it's like something like that, because with that, you're like one of the people is hosting the game.
Right,
you're basically on your server.
Directly connected to their computer.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's... They can somehow probably get through like Blizzard servers and then access your PC or something. I don't know.
Right.
Again, I'm not an expert on that either.
I can usually figure out how to work a computer, how to set things up, like the streaming that we're doing. But I even had a buddy help me with that. He's extremely computer literate.
I'm good at finding stuff on the internet. and working with that. Very, very self-reliant when it comes to the internet. Like, I don't think I very rarely, if ever, post questions like on the internet. I'm pretty good at researching. This is a big job of my previous career was, research. And so it's something that I feel like I'm pretty good at. And my current major, that's another big part of it, history. It's all research.
Yeah, it's pretty much all research at that point. So I found a merchant. What did we need to buy from the merchant?
Hideout fragments. The merchant of the beach has it.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh shoot. No. I'm gonna lose all these darn. No. No. Darn. They cost 1,500 souls apiece. I just lost like almost 1,200 souls.
I was coming to help, but didn't work.
Yeah, the merchant to the beach, like the southeast of us right now. That's where they're at. He sells what we need. So I'm gonna go around and do camp. Yeah, I'm gonna go around and do camps because you get a lot of souls from opening the chests.
Yeah. My quest was a camp one, so let me go run that and see if it's something I can even do at this point. It said it was hard, so we'll see how that goes.
Right, and camp right there.
I don't seem to be too underpowered for this area. No, it says 190, and I'm at 246.
Yeah, I don't have the actual difficulty things for the missions matter.
Oh, yeah.
Like maybe when you first spawn in, but past that, I've never had issue doing hard or medium or any of that stuff, so. It's like a very light recommendation.
Well, now I'm freezing. Neat. I'm by a fire and I'm still freezing. Double neat.
What was I doing?
Hey, more horns.
The Jotun drops about 2,000 souls, so once we kill them, we can get a couple of these fragments. I might go by the bridge and see how much more we need to do for that. Because before we need the fragments, we need the... whoops, I just gave my souls away. We need to build the bridge, which takes resources, and then... we need all the fragments for the Jotun fragments, the quest fragments, the hideout fragments, all that jazz.
Neat. Oh, come on, let me out of here. I'm freezing. Almost out.
Ancient cores, alright. I've played some of Icewind Dale, but I've never beaten it. I'll be playing it on the channel at some point in the future. Probably after Pillars, but we'll see.
You know, it's the exact same for me.
What was that?
It was the exact same for me. I've played a lot of Icewind Dale, but I never beat it.
Yeah, I'll be playing, What do I need? I need this. Let me make more of these. So I'll be doing Wrath of the Righteous, and probably its DLCs will be out by the time I'm done with that, so all of its DLCs, and then Baldur's Gate 3, and then I plan on doing the Pillars franchise after that, maybe, and then probably Icewind Dale. That's a very rough schedule. Don't know if that's actually what I'm going to do or not, but we'll see.
I always get so sidetracked whenever I play anything. Especially if I play anything long. I really have, like, game ADHD. I find the only things I finish are usually when I'm playing them with someone. Because they're like, hey, you want to play this? I'm like, yeah, I really like that.
I'm really good about staying on track. I used to not really finish games, especially when I was younger. I'd start games and I would get sidetracked. I'd sit there and during one play session, I'd swap games like 3 or 4 times and just never make any progress. So I've really hunkered down and changed that about me.
Yeah, I thought when I started recording things, I'd hold myself more accountable. I don't.
Yeah, one of my big motivations is like there's a lot of Let's Play channels I've actually like stopped watching because they don't finish their series, so just cut it for no reason. It's just I can't stand that.
Yeah, me too.
I promise I'd never leave a series unfinished unless it was out of my hands.
Yeah, it makes me sound like a hypocrite, but I'm the exact same way. I'm like, oh man, why didn't they finish this? And like, I won't watch certain things unless they are finished. But I'm just as bad.
Yes, I think there's only one unfinished Let's Play series on my channel, and there's the More Time, which I didn't finish, which... Ugh. And the other game I didn't finish because it was just super, super buggy on release. It was probably the worst...
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name of it.
Underworld Ascendant. I've never seen a game launched in such a poor state before.
I think it's supposed to be a lot better now. I ended up picking it up on sale, but I haven't checked it out yet.
They had 2 big patches for it, but I don't know. After the initial release, I mean, that was supposed to be a finished product, and
just put a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I don't think I can bring myself to play it ever again.
Oh, are you kidding me? I got killed right by the shrine. Somebody popped out of nowhere. But hey, at least I'll be back at the base in a minute.
Yeah, I've always heard that they had like mediocre stories because like the original Infinity Engine games, for me anyway, have always been categorized. So Planescape Torment is a story game. Icewind Dale and 1 and 2 are both like the combat focused games, and then Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are like yeah, like they're a good mix of the two.
Yeah.
All right, someone hunt down this Jotun because I want those souls.
I will come help you. I would argue that I think Baldur's Gate 2's story is just as good as Planescape. It's just not as dense. But it has been a long time since I played Planescape. It's also hard for me to be objective about the Baldur's Gate games because I love them so much.
Oh man, I gotta repair my, I don't have any souls.
Whoops.
Whoops, wasn't paying attention.
I do like that the area of effect attacks don't damage you once they're down on the ground. Like, you don't have to constantly avoid them. Otherwise, there'd be, like, no time to actually get in there and hit them.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sure that's something they would balance if that was the case, but yeah, that would be just a little bit too tedious, I think. Especially considering how much health they have.
Yeah.
That would just slow down the combat.
I was not paying attention. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm down again. Only top tier gameplay here, folks. I mean, Don's doing good, but, you know.
So I have to use a crappy weapon because I forgot to repair my axe. So I actually might have to get some souls and then go back, repair my axe, and come back because I'm tickling this guy.
I'll keep whittling him down. Hopefully, I won't get killed. Yep. I did. I got killed.
Unless he doesn't shoot a fireball at me, I should be good.
Yeah, he did his sword attack, and I thought I rolled out of the way, but I guess I wasn't far enough.
Yeah, he'll track you with it. He does like a 90-degree turn when he slams his sword into the ground, so it's hard to avoid. If you just stay to his back when he raises up his sword, you should dodge it.
Good to know.
That's a blood moon. I still don't have enough souls for what I need to do. Oh, there's a camp. I'm gonna take care of this camp.
Uh-oh. I'm actually just going to give up and come back because it's right by here, and I didn't have any souls anyways. And I kept only getting back up at like 700 or 800 health. And so anytime he would even sneeze on me, I would die.
Also, I'm a little familiar with the Icewind Dale series. If you watch my Baldur's Gate Let's Play, I guess Siege of Dragon Spears, where they reference it the most. I know a lot of the references for the games. Some of the weapons in Baldur's Gate 2 that you can buy are also part of are from Icewind Dale.
That's cool.
So I know my stuff. I just haven't beaten it. There's something else I was gonna do. Don't remember what it was. Oh, heal. That's what I need to do.
And I accidentally hit my rune. So, like, where I'm playing, my hands are under my desk, so my camera doesn't pick up so much of the clicking and clacking of the controller. And apparently, my right thumbstick was clicked in by the desk, and it teleported me back to town, and I didn't notice.
Yeah, I've got one of those things that slide out that your keyboard sits on.
Yeah.
I have my hands underneath that when I'm playing with the controller. So I have a pretty sizable wooden desk that my grandfather got me back when I was in middle school.
Nice.
But since it has like this shelf system on top of it, I don't have room for a second monitor unless I get like a really small one, which I'm fine with. I just need something that I don't have a second monitor yet. At some point I'll get one, so I can like monitor my recording software and stuff without having to minimize out of the game.
Oh yeah, when I very first started doing anything like this, I actually would do the recordings on my laptop. I had a really nice laptop, and everything had to be hotkeyed. So it was like hotkey to start the recording, hotkey to do this, hotkey to do that, and it was not fun.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have hotkeys set up for my recordings and stuff, and when I do my streams, I have a laptop, a really cheap laptop for school that I use to monitor my streams and all that. But its willingness to connect to the Wi-Fi is very dependent on the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I use my phone to monitor my stream.
Hey, I get it. Oh my lord, I'm so bad at dodging that.
Alright, I'm gonna kill this guy before I pick you up. Unless, well, you might need the hit. Let me can pick you up.
Yeah, I'm not positive. I think I got him, but I'm not sure. If you want to head on.
Play it safe.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Oh wait, that's right. I need to stop attacking. I want to get these resources over here.
The sword got me again. You could just go ahead and kill him. It's fine. Apparently
like, what,
that.
One hit? Maybe 2 hits.
That is my Achilles heel, is dodging that attack. Okay, I got it. Oh, and I did have it, but I appreciate it anyways.
Alright, gotta head back, take care of the base.
I will be there very soon, and I've got 1,700 souls, so... Uh-oh. I just looked at the tree health.
Yep.
Stupid.
Alright, I'm saving it. You save your souls, I'm putting all my souls into the tree.
Okay. Gotta love a blood moon.
I need help over here with this boss. He's destroying it. I can't stop him.
Oh, I can't sprint. I'm close. I had souls. Damn.
Oh, you're on a heck of a journey, man. It's a long series. I actually have a combined Let's Play of the entire saga on the channel as well. I created a new section for playlists called like Sagas, Series, and Sequels.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
If there's any
I like the way you have
or...
that laid out.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I meant to do it a long time ago. I just kept putting it off because it was a little more than I wanted to do.
Sure.
But yeah, if there's any games on the channel where like there's a sequel or DLC for it that aren't like the initial, I can't invite anybody. Why can't I invite anybody? What is going on here? Can you invite?
Let me see.
Oh,
So
there we go,
inviting.
popped up.
Did it work? Hey, there we are.
I sent you an invite. For some reason, it wasn't on my main menu, so I couldn't do it.
It's not letting me accept it. There we go. Had to get my mouse up and working.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pick the hunter again. The hunter, screw having durability on items. That's too much hassle. Over 200, man. Shoot, Underrail is up like 200 just by itself.
Oh man, Underrail was really good.
I didn't even do anything. I didn't do everything in the game. I missed an entire quest line, and they've added a lot more content since last time I played. So I'll probably revisit that at some point.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with more DLCs for it or make a sequel. Could be a decade.
They're working on a standalone sequel.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not like directly tied to the original, but it's set in the same world. I don't know a lot of the details, but while they're doing that, they've also released more content for the base game. A fair bit too, based on what I've seen. They added like a bunch of random dungeons and stuff to it. Stuff that you won't necessarily see in a single playthrough.
Right.
No, I'm just going to go straight to this camp.
I'll help you if I can find out how to get in.
Oh, whoa.
If you kite him back this way, I'll take him out for you. There we go. I might can get her, and then I'll grab you. Yeah, there we go. Oh, what happened?
I have no idea.
I was picking you up, and then you just flew into the sky.
I still had plenty of bar, I thought. Maybe she had like an orb and after she died and she shot it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Not a big deal. It's only like 80 souls. Nothing to cry over.
Alright, let's grab a quest and head that way.
Don't forget to get your pickaxe and stuff. So you need to get flint and all that jazz.
Very smart. I probably would have.
Oh, I don't have any magic to use because I went and picked a fight first. Oh no. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Turns out it was actually a really bad idea.
I'm missing flint. Well, it wasn't a terrible idea. It just wasn't a great idea. You know, it was a mid-range idea.
And we start off with a decent amount of souls for the base as well. We can upgrade. I can upgrade 2 of the NPCs so that we can leave the base undefended a little longer. Darn it, we should have taken the Bifrost last time instead of keep forgetting to do that.
Well, I think we would have been fine if I had made it back to the tree and was able to put my souls in it, but
I need to do that 10 times anyway for that one achievement.
Yeah.
And you get the golden horns out of it. We would have had 2 golden horns for 2 Jotuns defeated. And I found 2 golden horns just by exploring, killing Dokufar.
Yeah, I ended up getting 2 or 3 of them last run too.
Alright. Oops, didn't mean to do that.
Well, what do you know? Plenty of fur now that I don't need it. Just ran into like 30 wolves.
You only need to make an axe, so drop the pickaxe on the ground if you haven't made it yet.
Cool, thank you, sir.
It's actually made 2.
Alright, let's grab a quest.
It's all good, man. Alright, souls and resources.
Alright, who'd you upgrade? I'll get some of the other ones.
Upgrade the Tinkerer. I meant to upgrade the Blacksmith as well, but I didn't, so...
I will get the Blacksmith. Do you want me to get a couple of guys to level 2 or get one to level 3?
We'll go ahead and get the Blacksmith level 3, I think. Because the bottom should hold better, because there's 2 NPCs that defend the south gate.
Gotcha, and the Blacksmith's on his own.
Over there by himself. Yeah. Actually, the Tinkerer is probably the more important one to get to level 3, but it'll be fine. Won't make that big of a difference this early on.
Right.
Our reason to get the Tinkerer to level 3 is to get the all the resources unlocked and better tools, but we don't have the resources for that yet.
Very true. Ah, merchant. He has event fragments.
Oh, okay. That'll be useful too, so we don't have to go get like the roosters and the stags and stuff. That'll save us a little bit of time.
Yeah, and they're pretty cheap too. It looks like they're only 150. Maybe they go up as you buy more, but the first one's 150. Another camp. Yeah, I'm gonna go warrior again. I seem to always survive the most, or the longest when I'm the warrior.
I made the Tinkerer level 3. I'm going to Warden, so I don't have to worry about durability. That saves us souls in the long run, which is always nice. I always forget to upgrade or to repair my stuff anyway, because I'm so used to playing the Warden. And he has infinite construction. So he can make as many ramps as he wants, so you can get up to those platforms and stuff.
That would be handy for sure. At least when they worked. I don't know. I tried to use ramps the last time we played, and it did not go well.
Yeah, they're a little finicky. I've got really good at eyeballing them, but He has
It
infinite that lasts for like 30 seconds apiece.
it felt like a weird addition, the ramps.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
it's
I
only
get
used
it.
for like climbing up to higher elevations, so it's like too niche.
Yeah. It's almost like are you trying to attract some of the Fortnite crowd with building?
Yeah, and they have like the walls and stuff you can build, but they're like you can't really use them for defenses because enemies just kind of melt through them.
Yeah. It may have been something that was like a bigger idea when they were first coming up with the concept of the game, and then they just focused on the other stuff, and that just kind of stayed there.
Yeah, they might expand on it in like future seasons or something, but yeah, so far it's a little lackluster, which is fine with me. I'm not a huge like crafting guy anyway.
It
So
depends. It's definitely something I gotta know I'm getting myself into. You know.
yeah, that is one of my biggest disappointments with Fallout 4 was the crafting. They said, "Oh, it's not going to be a big part of the game. You know, it's all optional content." And then half the DLC were crafting DLC.
Yeah. And I enjoyed the crafting in Fallout 4. But sometimes it was annoying because it was like, I need to go do this. Well, you can't because you got to build this first. Okay. I enjoyed the weapon modding. I thought that was
I like
fun.
that part too.
And the armor crafting was fun too.
Yeah, the armor system, well, besides some like the late game armor looking really silly, was all. The rest of it was really cool. Like the
Yeah.
concept of it was cool.
How did you feel about the way they treated power armor in 4?
I really liked it because it mixed things up. Because in the previous games, once you found power armor, that's all you used. Like
Yeah.
you just defaulted to it because it was so strong. But creating it like that, I don't know, it felt good to use.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a little clunky, of course, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's more fitting. Like, was it something special versus just you find it and then that's all you use for the rest of the game?
I had some severe dichotomy with how you used power armor in Fallout 4, because when you did use it, like the very first time they gave it to you, and you fought that Deathclaw with the minigun, like that was a really cool moment.
Yeah, but I feel like it also kind of weakened the impact of Death Claws and power armor by just
Yeah.
doing that early. Like, I think
Yeah.
power armor training should have still been a thing. I mean, that's been a huge part of the franchise since the beginning.
Yeah. Although, I'm not sure how much they really care about too much.
But yeah, it was weird not to have power armor training and then you just immediately thrown into it, which you could be excused if you're playing the male survivor because he was prior military, so he could have had the training. But if you're
Yeah.
playing the wife, she was a lawyer, it doesn't make as much sense.
Also true.
Yeah, Pathfinder comes out September 2nd, man. You get excited.
Yeah, I'm with Aaron. I don't mind crafting, but if you have to grind or pick things up for hours and hours and hours just to craft one thing, it's not fun.
Yeah, I think it has to be like a more natural progression. So like this game, I think has a decent progression, and you get rewarded for looting. Like you get experience.
souls.
Yeah. Even Chernobylite has a really good crafting system. Whenever you pick
Yeah.
up resources, you get experience. When
Yeah,
you craft, you
I
get
liked that a
experience.
lot.
So like I think having that double reward makes more sense than just like crafting, or like the forest. Enjoyed it, but man, having to haul those trees back to base to build stuff is just so tedious.
I was really lucky. I played the forest with a friend of mine, and in his downtime, he lugged all the trees and did all of that because we recorded it. It's on my channel, one of our playthroughs, and damn it, thing killed me. But it was I came back to this big crazy base, so I just got to do the fun crafting. I didn't have to do the annoying crafting.
Yeah, and then I have this thing where you have you can craft things that store other things. Like you can craft like a container that holds logs.
Right.
And so if I use those logs, I have to refill it up. Like, I can't leave it empty.
Yeah.
So like even if I have that, I still have to go get the logs that it was holding regardless. Like it doesn't actually save me time.
Yeah. I started playing, I think it's called Medieval Dynasty. It's a new game, new-ish, in early access, and it was on Game Pass. And it's very similar to The Forest, but it's different too, because it wants you to set up a literal dynasty. Like, you build a whole town, and you invite people back to your town, and then you can, like, marry one of them and have children, and it's interesting.
Sounds like it doesn't ring a bell. It kind of rings a bell, but I might be getting that mixed up with a different game where you, like when you die. No, I think it's a new game. Again, it just came out. I think that might be an MMO. No. I watched shoot, what's it called? It was like a failed MMO project. And basically, what happens is like you live, you have children, and you pass on your traits to your children. It's this huge elaborate system, and it didn't really take off.
That's a cool concept, though. I'm not much of an MMO person.
I am not either. I've played a couple, and I feel like they all kind of, boil down to the same thing. So it's just like, I had fun. I played ESO like when it first came out. They got the Emperor's Edition, had it a week before everyone else did.
Right.
Had a blast. Played up till Craglorn, then I had to deploy, and so I couldn't play it for 6 months. I come back, and I'm so far behind. Like, I feel like I can't catch back up.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of MMOs, the older ones, are just really intimidating to get into. And I was only gone for 6 months from that game. And, I just felt so far behind.
Aaron, it's on Game Pass on PC. It's not on Xbox yet. Or at least it wasn't last time I looked. Oh, no, this thing's gonna kill me before I can get my loot. Stupid Lenorm. I'm not good at dodging you. Leave me alone. Wow. Shield doesn't really do anything, does it?
It'll block all the damage unless they have, like, the crit attack. So if their eyes glow red, you can't block that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I blocked that Lenorm, and it still took half my health. I need to make a better weapon.
You should be able to block anything besides the... Alright, I need 3 cut stone and 1 wrought iron for the quarry. I'm going to try and make it early on so we get those resources pumping into our chest.
Okay, I will drop everything I have into the box.
I have some stuff I need to drop off, too. Yeah, I've played a few MMOs in my day. I played Guild Wars, the first one.
I played the first one when it first came out, but I pretty much played it by myself.
I did too. I played, and you could, because they had those NPCs that we could...
yeah, I thought it was really cool.
And so the only one... I played Factions. I didn't play the original. I played Factions and then Nightfall when it came out.
I played that for a little while. I played Guild Wars for a little while. I played Final Fantasy XI for a little while, but I never really got into it. And then the only one I did get into was Star Wars. I can't remember the name of it now. The old one.
Galaxies.
Yes. I played that a lot.
Didn't play Galaxies. I played Guild Wars. I played a little bit of Age of Reckoning, the Warhammer MMO. Stopped doing that real fast because I didn't realize our internet had a data cap at the time. That's when I first got high-speed internet, and my dad came to me with I remember it was $500 or $700 bill.
Oh.
Because they didn't explain to us that we had a data cap. We didn't have to pay it because, again, they didn't tell us that we did.
Right.
But yeah, still really scary for... How old was I at the time? Was it middle school? Maybe a freshman in high school. Either way, it was it's like I can't pay that. I don't have that sort of money.
Yeah, I had a friend who moved when I was younger, and I would call him and we'd talk on the phone all the time. It was the same thing. It was my grandpa brought me a bill for like $500, and I was like, oh my god, what happened? He said, yeah. So what? He said, I'm going to go ahead and get the unlimited long distance so you can still talk to your friend, but pay attention to stuff like this, okay? So I know exactly how you feel. It was a very, oh god, moment.
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember when what was it played? I played ESO when it came out. Had a lot of fun with ESO. Some really, really cool adventures in single player.
I tried playing it, and I don't know if it was me or something, but something about the game felt really weird, and I had trouble actually playing it. It's like I couldn't hit anything. Maybe I just had a bad internet connection or something, but...
Well, I never played in first person. I know that was like part of the appeal was you play in first person. I always played in third, and I had a couple add-ons that I had installed, mostly for like the health bar and stuff to make it easier to read and see. I played it almost religiously. Every spare second I had, I was in that game, and I did all the content single player up to Craglorn. I didn't do all of Craglorn's content because some of it required like a full party, like the raids. So I think 12 players. I was part of a guild, a pretty big guild. See, I'm not a big guild guy. I like playing stuff single player. Like when I did the Old Republic, it was all single player. Except for one time I went out of my way to help a guy who was looking for one of the datacrons and didn't know how to find it. He didn't tell me, but I could tell he was looking for it, so I helped him find it.
I played the Old Republic a little bit, and I enjoyed what I played, but then it was like, oh, I want to get this piece of armor. Oh, well, you got to have this for it. Oh, and how do I get that? Oh, well, you got to do this event with 30 other people. I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Yeah, those endgame grinds and stuff just are, not a fan of it. That's why I don't play MMOs. It's just, it always boils down to the same thing.
Yeah. I like to play single player or small co-op, like 2-4 people tops. And when I was younger, it was a lot easier to get 3 or 4 people together, but the older you get, you know what they say, and by the time you're in your 30s, you got about 5 people you spend time with.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own schedules and stuff. It's hard to... It's like me and my buddy, the only time we can really play together is when I'm not in school, but once I start my next career, we'll probably never get to play together. At least not on a regular basis. Yeah,
and like, I work third shift. We had so much trouble getting together because my schedule was so weird.
Yeah, I've done that before. And then like the Mrs. was, working regular hours, so we never saw each other.
Yeah, it can be a grind for sure. But I've been working third shift for coming up on 8 years.
Ooh.
I'm kind of a night owl anyway, so like personally it doesn't bother me. And I work 12-hour shifts, so I'm lucky I'll have a couple days off during the week.
Yeah,
so I can get stuff done. That's what we did
too. Was 12 on 12 off, but we didn't get days off. So it was just a nonstop grind.
Ooh. No, thank you. That sounds tough.
The deployments were supposed to be 12 on 12 off, but most days ended up being like 16 hours. Even in the States, we worked like between 12 and 16-hour days. We didn't always have night shifts, so we'd have a day shift where we worked. It was hit or miss. I guess whatever the schedule needed, we'd work, but...
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I worked more days than I did nights, but I did night shifts for a couple stints. 12 on 12 off usually ended up being between 12 and 16. And they were the only squadron there. They would work late on Fridays. Every other squadron would leave at like noon, and we'd be there until 6-7 p.m.
Ugh. So you were the dependable ones.
We were the ones that had the CEO that wanted to look the best. That's all. Like, I remember we were on deployment and they had us come out in formation after our shift was over to talk about how our squadron got this reward, which means nothing for enlisted guys. It's everything. Like the CEO gets basically all the credit,
right,
for that. And so they not only did our work earn him that reward, which is to make him look better. He's also wasting our time by bragging about it in front of us. He just let us go home and go to sleep, man.
Yeah, it does not sound appealing.
Which, I mean, I enjoyed my job, so it wasn't the end of the world. It took me a while to convince myself that I enjoyed my job, but eventually I got around to it, and it wasn't so bad. Like, there's a lot to... It's a very elaborate job. And so it was never like the same problem twice.
Yeah, that's how my job is too. It's very very different. So
I wasn't
don't
drafted.
end up...
I joined voluntarily. So I graduated high school. Did a year of college. Didn't really think I wanted to do that. So I joined the military mostly as a way to buy time because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had a few ideas. I just hadn't settled on one yet.
I get it.
And so, no, I wasn't drafted. I joined voluntarily. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, which only cost me a little over 5 years of my life. No big deal.
Sometimes spur of the moment decisions end up taking a lot longer than a moment. But I get that. I remember I quit a job I hated. It was the only job I've ever just up and quit. Everywhere else I put in like 2 weeks notice because I had a better job, but I hated it and I just quit. I was like, I'm done. And later that day, someone offered me another job that was similar, but not at the place I hated, so I took it. And then I felt trapped there for a long time, and I worked there way longer than I wanted to, so... I mean, they weren't going to arrest me if I left, but I sort of get what you mean.
Oh, sorry, and I missed a couple of your other comments. But yeah, I had data caps. It was a little while. This was over a decade ago. It's not really a thing anymore that I know of. I assume that they still have them, but they're so high. Actually, I think my current policy, we still have data caps, but we never hit it.
I don't know if I have data caps, but I know they slow it down after a while.
Yeah, and I don't know if they still charge extra for it. I think some policies probably still do, but yeah, I mean anything that will get them more money, they're willing to do it.
Definitely.
Not a big fan of old Comcast.
Oh yeah, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a choice. So
yeah,
I'm lucky in this area.
They're not where I am, so.
All right, so I finished the quarry. So we'll get regular resources every 10 minutes.
Uh-oh.
I was actually out there with some Englishmen when I deployed. And some Danish and I think Italians. Italians were out there. And Germans.
It seems like it'd be cool to have that many different kinds of people in the same area. I feel like you could learn a lot.
Didn't really get a lot of chance to interact with them. We were always so busy. Like,
fair enough.
And like, we weren't actually on the base, so the way it worked was, you have like there's technically like 3 bases there. So like, we were on a base that was in a base, and then I worked on the flight line, which is separate from the other base, if that makes sense. It was so we were pretty isolated.
Sounds even more frustrating.
I did learn a little bit of Danish though to talk, because when we got the chance to eat, some of the Danish would be there.
Ah, I'm getting killed. Okay, I'm good.
What am I using? Oh, the wrong axe equipped. Whoops. No, I didn't cancel it. Just use my waystone in the base.
Oh, I know how you feel. I need to heal. Do you need to heal? I'm going to use this lady.
Yeah, I'll run up there and top off.
How do you say her name? Dagny?
What is it? Yeah, I think it's Dagna. I think it's Dagna.
Dagna. Like a UH sound?
Might be Dagny. I'm not 100%. I'm not very good at pronunciating Norse names.
Yeah, nor am I.
They have 4 letters. I can do it. Thor, Odin, Loki. I've got those down.
Sif.
Yes,
The fourth letter is silent. It's invisible too. You can't see it. It looks like we have enough to make a second. Hang on, a second Nornir axe if you want.
Yeah, I'll probably swing by and do that then. Just put it in the chest. I'll grab it. I'm gonna grab another shrine. Head back.
Get it and put it in there for you, sir.
Let's see. What do we need? So we need to find a couple of merchants. Oh, so, all right, I see a shrine to the southwest. I'm gonna head towards that.
I am here, so I will help hold down the fort.
Also grab this event while I'm over here. My throat that keeps trying to give out on me. I don't know if I've talked too much today or what. You think after doing this for, what, 3, going on 4 years, my throat would be a little bit more resilient.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you never really get used to. I think it's like you personally get used to having to talk or quote unquote entertain, but I don't know if your throat ever really gets used to it. Because I remember one time I was recording and I recorded like 6 or 7 episodes in a row.
Ooh.
And afterwards I was like, "Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play." I said, okay, I'm gonna need to take a break.
Oh man, I could do that. I do, one episode a day for each series. Very rarely pre-record. I mean, I've been pre-recording Chernobylite, but only 1 episode at a time. Mm-hmm. So I'm still basically like recording per day because gosh, I can't think or talk now. It's still basically the same thing, just like a day in advance. But I'm only doing that because I have to run it through the video editor because it has like 20 gig file size when I record, so I have to reduce that down to like 4. Oh man! So it doesn't take 11 hours to upload.
What do you record in? Like 4K or?
No, just 1080.
Yeah. See, because the 1080 is so big already. You end up playing something and it'll be 6 or 7 gigs for a 30-minute episode.
I thought about recording in 4K. I can do it, but I only have a 1080 monitor, so I'm not going to let my viewers get something better than I have.
And honestly, again, my vision's not the best. Like, I'm not blind or anything, but I wear glasses. And sometimes there's just not that much of a difference to me, personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a difference. And then once everything's encoded on YouTube, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
So, though it is recommended to upload stuff in 4K or 1440 because that'll give you the better encoder on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And so your stuff will be better quality because YouTube uses 2 different encoders, one for the small guys,
right,
and one for the big guys. And but if you do higher quality, it forces YouTube to use the better encoder for you, so your video isn't as compressed once it.
I think I know what you're talking about. My friend who ran YouTube, he ran his own YouTube channel. He did the same thing. He would basically he would have to pack his video file, and so it would trick YouTube into thinking that it was the higher codec, and it would give him the better fidelity, which I thought was really interesting. But it made his files enormous, so it may be the same thing you're doing.
I don't do that. No, I know you can, but I don't do that.
Well, it would take him forever to like edit and upload the videos, and it would make his videos take. Some of them were upwards of like 20 hours to upload.
Yeah, that's too much for me. I don't like leaving my computer on when I'm not around, so I'm not gonna do that because my power goes out a fair bit. I live in a modern area, but infrastructure here is a little iffy.
Is it a apartment complex? Sometimes they're rough on stuff like that.
No, actually, I live in a suburban area. but we have a lot of trees and stuff, and so power, a decent breeze comes through, it's gonna knock branches to the power lines and knock out power, which will be easily resolved because right across the street I have a school, and they never lose power. If they just ran something under the street underground, and then run it to our little section, our part of the grid, we would run out of power.
Yeah, we were really lucky when my wife and I bought our house. We didn't really factor this in, but all of the wiring is below ground. So we don't have like power lines in our area, and we don't lose power very much. Now, the big transformer down the street that runs the power to us, that's above ground, and that goes out a lot. So that's frustrating, but at least it's not on us.
Yeah, our power, like our whole street, and I don't want to call it a block, but like this whole part of the grid loses power all the time. That's Thunder Thunder. It might lose power now. We'll see.
Well, if you disappear, I'll know what happened.
It has been doing good lately, though. I'm probably going to jinx it by saying that, but I haven't really been losing power this year. There was one time, but we lost it for like a week. That's the longest I've lost power. That was miserable.
Oh my goodness, a week?
Yeah, it was. We had a big windstorm come through. It was a couple years ago.
Oh my goodness!
It messed up everybody. It wasn't just us this time. Thankfully, it was like the whole city.
Still, that's crazy.
Yeah, me neither, man. I think my TV's still 720, so I feel you.
I did get a 4K TV, but it's not a very large one.
I only use my TV for Netflix and stuff. It doesn't need to look that good. I'm not that. Again, I don't really see that much of a difference.
Yeah, it's like I can tell a lot more difference. So, like, I bought one of the new Xboxes, the Xbox One Series X, with its dumb name. But I mean, sure, it looks fine. I thought the old one looked fine too. But what I really notice is how much faster it is. So if it goes for graphics or gameplay, I'm gonna pick gameplay every single time.
Yeah, same. I have no qualms with, because I play a lot of older games. Graphics mean nothing to me.
Yeah.
As long as it's fun. In fact, older graphics, it gives me like this warm, fuzzy feeling when I play it. I don't know what it is, because a lot of the games I've never even played before. But like, when I see those graphics, it's comforting almost.
I get that. I think my favorite game fidelity, like visual style, is Chrono Trigger.
Yeah,
something about sprites. Yeah, it's probably my favorite JRPG, but something about sprites is just always ages well.
Yeah, that like Final Fantasy VI, that whole generation just looks really good.
Yeah, I really like, in my opinion, I feel like I've never beaten Final Fantasy VI. I keep getting sidetracked every time I try and beat it, but the thing I really, really liked about Chrono Trigger was I thought the characters, I liked the actual way they were designed. I guess they weren't so chibi, you know?
Yeah.
Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying 6 looks bad. I preferred Chrono Trigger.
Power outages aren't really common here. They're common for me just because of where I live and the circumstances, but like right up the street, they never lose power. One of the houses I was looking at recently, they said they lost power like 5 seconds one time the 3 years they'd been there. So
we had there was a hurricane on the coast where I live, and that was the worst time that our power was out, and it was out for 12 hours, and that's the worst it's ever been.
Yeah, mine's just because it's a very forested area. They didn't really plan the power lines and the trees very well.
That's also why the internet is so slow in the U.S. they didn't plan it very well.
Yeah, well, they tried to fix that, but then the companies just took the money and ran.
Yeah, that's true.
The government gave them a bunch of money to up their infrastructure. And that's part of the reason why the cost of the service goes up every year.
Yeah,
it's for infrastructure, but they don't ever improve the infrastructure. So
yeah. I'm hoping that they'll get fiber where I am. It's close. It's about half an hour from me. So hopefully within the next couple of years we'll have fiber. Does Comcast offer fiber at all? Or
not where I'm at, but they do in like the city where I'm at, but not where I'm at specifically.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of in a small rural town. So there isn't a whole lot where I actually am, but there's a lot around me.
I do have really fast, like when my internet works, I have really fast internet. I get up to like 400 MBS.
See, I have a plan that says I'm supposed to have 500 download speed. Never happens.
Yeah, I'm supposed to get like 350, but I've seen it up to like 450 before. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I'm not going to complain.
Uh-oh. Tree. Yeah, I just noticed it.
I wasn't paying attention.
I wasn't either. Oh. Such is life.
That must be nice.
Yeah, that would be great.
But the UK is also a lot smaller. Like, I feel like it'd be easier to do that there versus the US where everything's just really spread out.
Yeah.
Like, the cost to do that would just be absurd. But they make the money to do it, so they need to start.
Yeah, you'd think. Oh, let's see what I unlocked. It says I unlocked some things.
I haven't unlocked anything. And let's check out the shop though. What do we got? Oh, I can get an upgraded bow.
Every time I get invited, it freaks out.
I want the bow or do I want the rune? I think I want the rune. I don't use bows.
It says I have new things, but they've all been claimed. But then why does it say I have new things? Oh, pants. Sweet.
But cities tend to have like fiber optics. Like cities get the upgrades quicker because everything's really condensed and easier to do. But like in the more rural areas, like I live in a semi-rural area, it'd be too hard. Like because even when high-speed internet came out, where I used to live out in the sticks, in a really rural area, and we didn't have high-speed. Like we had to use an adapter that you plug in via USB that connects to a cell tower to get high-speed internet, and it was extremely inconsistent. While all my buddies had cable and stuff, and it was just I get over to their house to use internet, and it was night and day.
So
actually,
explain the shop to me. When you unlock these things, you're unlocking them for being able to upgrade to them, right? So like this healthing chest plate, that's not something...
That's cosmetic. So if you look, so next to the chest plate, that bow, how it has that like little scroll to the bottom right, that means it's an actual upgrade in game. So that's an upgraded version of the bow.
Gotcha. So if I bought that chest plate, I would be wearing it, but it doesn't give me any added bonuses.
Correct. It's just cosmetic. You change that in the main menu. So it's like the pants you just got.
Gotcha.
So to me, I don't buy any of the cosmetics. I just buy the stuff you can actually use in game.
Might of Mjolnir. What is that?
It's a rune. It has a chance to proc like a lightning thing. That's what I just bought.
That's cool.
I don't know how much damage it does, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I wonder if because some classes get the increased lightning damage. I wonder if it stacks with that.
Yeah. So is that something we can start with, like with a starter rune?
No, it just adds it to the pool of runes you can find.
Gotcha.
Hottest mixtape of 1217.
Yep.
William the Conqueror and the boys.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, it wasn't a village. I just lived so there's the city where I went to school, and then I probably lived maybe 20-30 minutes outside of that. And just it was a very cow farming area. It wasn't a village.
Do you want to take a fiver, do a little bathroom break real quick, and then come back and do another run?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will go ahead and end this.
Chat.
I'll end this recording for you two. Run to the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back.